like,
girls weren't into me. I would,
you're a good-looking dude.
Thank you, but like I said, it was high school. They were into. Here's the funny thing. They would go. This would literally happen. They would go and fuck the jocks.
Right.
And the jocks weren't like cuddling them or being intimate with them. They were just, they were just fucking them.
Right.
And then the girls, I was like the buddy, and they would literally come over and be like, oh, let's snuggle, and they would, because I would give them intimacy. I would lie. I was so psyched to be lying there with a hot girl and I'd have a huge boner, and every time I'd try and like segue into having sex, they'd be like, oh, gotta go.
Right.
And so I was sort of like the guy who would like hold them and be intimate with them, and then they'd go fuck the jocks, and so it was this horrible existence.
You couldn't get laid at acting camp?
I was too young to really. I was kind of scared. I had my first tongue kiss and felt my first pair of boobs there, but I didn't really have sex until I was 18.
When did you start dating Mandy Moore?
That was after I made my film Garden State.
Oh, so you were older already.
Yeah.
You were in your what? Your 20s?
I was in my 20s, yeah. So that's what I was saying. I think that's where that came from, is that all of a sudden this all happened to me pretty overnight. I mean, I got Scrubs.
Scrubs was 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years, yeah.
And made a ton of dough, right? In syndication or in DVDs.
For your friend and mine, Bill Lawrence, the creator of Scrubs. Yeah, it was a huge show.
You don't see any
Are
action?
you saying you're not getting any?
No, I made plenty of money, totally. But I mean, when you own the show, that's people always ask me, I speak a lot at colleges and to kids who are pursuing entertainment, and really the thickest money you can make in entertainment is owning a hit TV show.
Can you like what kind
on
of money?
Network?
So no, Bill wrote that whole thing, and
Bill created that. He created Spin City. Bill's on fire. I mean, he created that. He created Spin City. He created Cougar Town with Courtney. Show three out of 3 pot Hollywood, because someone's going to take him out.
Because he made 3 pilots and they all got picked up.
Yeah, 3 out of 3 this season.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's on fire.
No wonder Bill's always like bragging to me about what he's doing. I don't pay attention. I saw Bill at Jimmy's.
It's so funny.
I know, but I saw Bill at Jimmy's and he goes, I go, hey, Bill, congratulations, Cougar Town. Got picked up and goes, oh, please, that's no big deal to me. I've got 3 deals. And I go, 3 deals? What's he talking about?
He loves you, by the way. It's so funny because he's one of those people. He's got so many people kissing his ass in Hollywood because he's so successful.
Yeah.
And it's funny for me because I've spent my whole 10 years watching everyone kiss his ass. But when he's around you, he becomes this little boy and starts kissing your ass. And I'm like, it's so fun. It's so fun for me to watch because I'm like, I never see Bill like that around anyone, but he's like that around you.
I didn't realize he was so successful. I didn't know that.
He's about as successful as a showrunner can be. I mean, he's got, next year he'll have 4 shows on the air. So
explain that to me. Let's say I come up with an idea like Scrubs, right? I cast the thing. I'm the showrunner. That's what they call it.
Yeah, in TV, the writer is king. In other mediums, like in film, the director is king. He's in charge. In TV, if you create the show and you write the show, and you're called, that title is called the showrunner. You're running the show. You're running a team of writers. You're hiring the directors. It's your baby.
Wow.
And you own the biggest piece of that show.
How much money do you think he made off of Scrubs?
I have no idea, but tons.
Tons. When you say, what is tons?
I don't even think he would want me to pontificate on.
Is it $100 million?
It could be. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. It could be 50 to 100. I have no idea.
I was reading your net worth, $22 million.
That's not accurate.
What do you mean?
That's because that came out on, that came out because some website pontificated that was it, but that's nowhere.
And they're completely way off?
Completely way off.
You're saying it's less?
It's a lot less.
Really?
I mean, I've done well, but all of a sudden my parents were calling me like, wait, what's this?
$22 million.
I know. Well, everyone in my family was like, you have $22 million? I was like, no.
So when you were dating Mandy Moore, was after you made the film Garden State?
Yeah, I was on Scrubs a year, and then my first hiatus, I did my first play.
You directed it?
I wrote, directed, and starred in it.
Wow. And
I don't even know if you've ever even seen it.
I said to Gary,
I've seen it.
I wonder if I've seen Garden State, because we were talking. He said it was Natalie
I really think you'd like it, but I'd love you to see it.
Well, people must like it. You made it for what, like $2 million?
We made it for everyone, and this is the story. Everybody passed on it. So I was on Scrubs. I get Natalie Portman, who loves it, and she wants to be in it, and I shop it around town, and I'm on a new hit show, and I've got Natalie Portman, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I'm going to make a movie.
Right.
Everybody in town passes on it. Every single person says no.
He went to every studio.
Everywhere. Every studio, every rich guy, everyone with a phone and a desk passed.
Why do you think they passed on it?
It wasn't a traditional screenplay. It didn't follow really all the rules. You know, there's all this stuff about, you know, 3-act structure. You know, this should be happening by this page. And I didn't follow any of that. I just wrote what I thought was a cool story. And I wrote about what I was feeling at the time. I was sort of a depressed, even though I was successful, I was in a depressed place. And
why were you depressed?
I don't know. I've battled depression in my life, and if you have, it comes at a time sometimes when things are going really well, so you don't even know. And
I think I might be depressed, but I don't have time to think about it.
Well, you're in therapy a lot, so you must have something going on.
I got a lot of shit going on.
So I wrote it about that, and everyone passed on it, and it was about to fall apart. And I met this, like, sugar daddy who was in the made a bunch of money in the mortgage business. Right. He wanted to get into entertainment. He didn't know anything about it, but he had a lot of capital to spare. He liked Natalie Portman. He liked me. And he said, you know, our budget at the time was like $6 million.
But when a guy who's not in the business, who's just going to, aren't you nervous as hell?
Yeah, but I had no other option, Howard. I had, like, it was about to not happen at all.
Would he say stuff to you like, this is going to make money, right?
Yeah. But he had lots of advisors. I mean, he wasn't in the business, but he had lots of talking heads in his ear. And so he said, you know, our budget at the time was $6 million. And he goes, look, is there any way you can make this movie for 2.5? And we were like, at the time, we were like, fuck, I don't know. If we cut a lot of... But I had amazing producers, and they figured it out, and we made this movie in 25 days for $2.5 million.
It's pretty amazing that he put up $2.5 million of his own money based on a script he read.
Yeah.
And, you know, doesn't really know what $2.5 million gets him.
I had no idea, and he just totally rolled the dice on me.
Wow.
And
who is this guy?
His name's Gary Gilbert, and he's become a successful film producer and financier.
Is that right? After your film, what other films did he make?
The Kids Were All Right was one.
Wow.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
With Julianne Moore, and he was involved with that. And you know, a handful of others. He's got Matthew Weiner, who created Mad Men. He's producing his first movie now with Zach Galifianakis and Owen Wilson. And
what an unbelievable story!
Yeah, and well, then he took it to Sundance, and
what? He took your film to Sundance? He took
my film to Sundance, and
how long did it take you to make the first film?
We made the film in 25 days.
Wow!
And
how'd you know what you were doing? You never directed before.
I went to film school, and I made short films before.
Where did you go to film school?
Northwestern.
That's
what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to act, and I loved acting, but I really wanted to make movies. I really wanted to make films. And when I got Scrubs, I was like, the first thought that came to my mind was, oh, this is going to help me get my movie made.
How much do you really need to know to direct a movie? In the sense that, do you need to know much about the technical end of filmmaking? Don't you get a guy who really is into that? Like,
there's directors who do that, but I never liked that as an actor. I think there's directors who are great at speaking to actors. There's directors who know all the technical stuff, and then there's some that know both really well. And as an actor, when I'm being directed, I love the people who know both. They can come talk to me, and then they're going to come up with a really cool shot and know all. So when I went to film school, I knew a little bit about acting, but I really wanted to focus on learning the tech stuff, and so that's all I focused on. For like 4 years, I just worked on short films.
Well, what do you mean the tech stuff? Like how to edit, how to put together a film, how to
shoot. I mean, you're a photographer. You know, back now everyone's shooting HD, but when I was in film school, we were literally shooting motion picture film. We were learning how to load a 16mm film camera, how to shoot it, how to light, how to do the sound. This is long before the sound that, you know, today it's all digital. This was a Nagra, which was like a tape-to-tape way of recording sound.
So you didn't start getting laid until you started on TV, on Scrubs?
No, I got laid in college. I mean, I did. In college, where it became a little less like, oh, you're not the star of the lacrosse team, you're the cool, geeky filmmaker.
Do you go on Facebook?
I found girls who liked cool, geeky filmmakers.
Do you go on Facebook and look at those girls now and think about, like, that you banged them and then they don't look so good?
It is fun looking at the girls from high school that I would just masturbate to like crazy. And
do you hear from any of them now?
No, but it's fun watching Butt Bongo Fiesta back in the day.
And masterpiece.
And I'm driving the elephant shitting all over the place. I was
3D.
Me and Gary were talking about that. And I'm driving up to your house, and I turn to my girlfriend. I'm like, I'm literally more nervous to meet Howard than I was to meet Obama.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and then what a disappointment.
Obama's not going to do anything weird.
That's why I hate having anyone in my house or getting personal with them, because I know it's just going to disappoint the shit out of them.
No, actually, it was quite the opposite. I was psyched that you were so normal and cool, and you know, sometimes you meet people that you look up to, and they're not cool, or they're obnoxious or arrogant, and you were nothing but you couldn't have been cooler.
And he pulls up with his supermodel girlfriend who had a giant, shocking pink hair.
Yeah, at the time she had pink hair.
Yeah, she did some modeling gig, but yeah, I didn't know your whole dating history, though. The thing about Mandy Moore, the reason I keep bringing it up and trying to get to this.
Yeah, you keep circling back to that.
I'll tell you why. Mandy Moore, what is she, a singer?
Mandy is a singer, actress. Yeah.
Right.
She was a pop singer kid. She got famous for, she had a hit, some hit pop songs, and then she segued into becoming more of an actress, and now she does both.
Are you still in touch with her?
Friend Lee, we don't, when I see her, we couldn't be more cordial and warm, but we don't really, she's married now, and we don't.
Long-time relationship, 2 years, I read.
She and I, went out for over 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
She break up with you?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
She broke your heart?
I really loved her a lot, yeah. But we were going in very different directions. It was one of those things where there's a lot of good things about it, but ultimately I think we both knew it wasn't we weren't going to get married or anything.
She broke up with you because you wouldn't.
Oh my God.
You wouldn't get.
Is this the Fred sad music?
Yes, it is.
I was hoping, Fred, while I'm in here, we promised, because I'm such a fan of the show, you never play the Beatles song that not the Beatles, the song that Beetlejuice wrote. Beatles is as bad as Ken.
He doesn't?
I'll play it on the out.
All right, on the out, if you don't mind.
Why don't you ever play that, Fred? I thought you did. You do.
Sorry.
Sure.
It's just one of my favorite moments in Howard Stern history, when Beatle improv'd his own song.
And it was pretty good, that song.
It was great, and then you had people cover it.
Well, then also Leslie West added some guitar work to it. It was pretty incredible. The whole thing grew.
But it was the summer that it came out. I was like, working here, and I was like, everyone's walking around, humming whatever stupid pop song, and I'm walking around singing Beatles. Beatle, he's as bad as Ken. He knows he's the best.
Yeah, it is a great song. I think Mandy Moore covered it.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah,
she should.
The reason I keep bringing this Mandy Moore up is because you did something very noble. When I had on this guy...
Wilmer Valderrama.
Wilmer Valderrama.
I think it's Wilmer Valderrama.
He came on my show, and he said that he took Mandy Moore's virginity.
Yeah. And I was dating her at the time, and we heard that.
And it was untrue?
Yeah.
It was. And so you confronted. You should have called me and said it was untrue. I just assumed that. Why would he make that up?
At the time, I wasn't hanging out at your house. I didn't know you.
No, but I mean, you should have called the show immediately and said, "Hey, this is a
I didn't know how to handle it. It's a weird position to be in, and I didn't. And I know Wilmer, by the way, and actually, Mandy was still really good friends with him, and he could not have been a nicer guy.
They had dated at some point.
They had dated, and he couldn't.